welcome to another vlog. It is a Saturday. We're gonna do a review on our Ranger Raptor. We're gonna basically see what I think of it, see what wifey thinks of it, what we like and don't like. But first we're gonna take the kiddos to jumping place. So it's gonna be a sick day. I think we're gonna have some fun with it. Whoa! So obviously come here for a jump with the kids before I get into this vlog, but yeah, a lot of fun this place. It's called Bounce. I want to thank my mate Mike Lake. If you haven't seen him already on YouTube, guys, go look up Mike Lake. He also does automotive vlogs and he hooked us up with these passes. Wow! Alright, so we're now done at Bounce. I want to get into this 10 things I love and hate about my Ranger Raptor. Number one thing that I hate would have to be the rake that the car has. The car looks super aggressive, but it sits lower in the front than the back, and it's something that really bugs me and something I'm definitely going to sort out when I get the chance. But I'll show you guys what I mean. So literally, if you look at your guard height there to the guard height back here, it's very, very different. So the car has like a nose down look, and it's something that honestly just kills me. It's like, why? I understand, like, obviously once you got weight in the back the car will go down, but then you can get a nice Cali lean happening. I'd much prefer a Cali lean versus the front sitting lower, and then of course I'm going to end up putting a bull bar and a winch on the front of this, which is just going to drop the front even lower, and being it's all custom, it is what it is. Pretty cool FT86 just came in. Check this out. That's not bad as far as FT86s go. Anyway, back to the task at hand. That is the number one thing I hate about the Ranger Raptor, and it's something that, like I said, I'll tend to. But yeah, got the kids here now. Let's move on to number two. The second thing that kills me about the Ranger Raptor is it has lane departure control, which is amazing. I think it's fantastic. But this car is seriously wide. And the one thing that gets me is quite often when I go to hit the indicators, I turn the lane departure control on or off. Depending on the road I'm heading down, this can be extremely annoying because it sends vibrations through the steering wheel, and it'll even tell you to pull over and have a coffee and things like that. So this is what I'm talking about right here, is the lane departure. So this button right here on the end of my stalk is lane departure control. So this will, when I go to indicate, if I push like that to indicate or knock it, that will turn my lane departure control on and off. And like I said, you get on some tight roads and you've accidentally turned the lane departure control on, it'll start beeping at you and vibrating the steering wheel. So that's number two thing that I hate about the Ranger Raptor.
So I'm heading to week
3 now.
Number one.
Number 3 is one that does bug me, but it definitely bugs some people worse. Wifey, what is it?
Stupid red strip in the steering wheel.
So the red strip on the steering wheel.
So I get what it's for, like, that's fine, but red. Like, all the stitching in the trim, it's all blue, like the hero colour is blue.
Literally blue stitching everywhere. Yes, my dash is dirty, don't pick on me. But blue stitching everywhere, blue stitching in the seats, blue stitching everywhere, and then you got this stupid Larry red strip, which we understand, it's to locate the center of your steering wheel, makes it feel a bit more like a race car, but why not blue, guys? Why not blue Ford? And that's just a crazy thing for me, that's so weird.
And the lights, like that's a little bit off red. It's more orange, be red with the rest.
I'll quickly get on to number 4 before we head off and get some lunch for the kiddos. Number 4 is the automatic stop start. Now, automatic stop start on the Ranger Raptor absolutely kills me. Anybody mechanically that has any mechanical knowledge knows that stopping and starting, especially a diesel, just kills the motors. Not only that, the stop start starter motors are extremely expensive. Luckily it's a 5-year warranty, and I intend to keep this car for 5 years and then move it on to a new one hopefully. But every single time you get in the car you have to turn it off. It doesn't, you can't just turn it off and it stays off. It's something you have to do every single time. And that will get me on to number 5, which is the cruise control, which is exactly the same problem. Every single time you get in the car, you need to turn cruise control off and then set your speeds, which isn't the end of the world by any means, but when you're paying 75 grand for a car, you want it to do some shit for you. And that is one thing that, again, really bugs me about it. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go get some lunch for the kiddos and we'll get on to the final 5 things that I hate about my Ranger Raptor. And then we're gonna get on to the goods, because there's definitely a lot of goods. All right, so one of the things, especially on a day like today in this car, so it would be number 6, there's no vents in the back for the kids. So I know there's only 1 or 2 cars on the market that have vents in the back. How do you like it with no vents in the back, Scarlett? You get a bit hot in the back? Okay, so that is one that does bug me about it, but the only car that I noticed in this sort of segment that had the vents in the back was the Nissan, and I wasn't a fan of the Navara. So yeah, it's one of those things you sort of have to deal with, but I just think for the kids, it would have been nice to have a vent in the back. All right, so while we are in the car just getting the kids out, one thing that number 7? Yeah. Number 7 will be the automatic high beam. So it has automatic headlights turn on when it's dark, and it also has automatic high beams. Now they can be tricky. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. You know, I have over 5,000 kilometers on this car already. I did a trip down to Mount Gambier, Melbourne, and back up to Queensland. And one thing I can say is a bunch of times the high beams either didn't turn on or stayed on when a car was coming towards us as if it didn't recognize it. So I don't know if that's something that Ford will hopefully update, but it's definitely something that is a bit frustrating. You want it to be like fully automated, and it can be questionable. All right, so number 8. It's too wide. I'm gonna get to this when it comes to the good things as well, but it's really damn wide. It takes up an entire park. And I know that wifey had an instance the other day. What'd you do, honey?
I reverse parked it at daycare, got out of the car, thought that I'd nailed it. It was like perfect, looked down in the lines, like yeah, sick. And then walked around to the other side and it was on the white line. It's like 6 inches wider than normal. Yeah. It's really hard to park.
Yeah, so that's something that's caught me out a few times, and this park here where I'm in now is not too bad, but you know, I'm pretty much on the curb and there's only not even a foot on the other side, and you think it's pretty shuckers, but that is something you really have to get used to with these cars. So anyway, heading into Sushi Train now to get lunch for the kiddos. We'll get back to the final 2 in a minute. Thank you. How many 5-year-olds do you know that are obsessed with salmon? So now you've arranged your food, which one are you going to eat? Avocado? What? You're making a sandwich out of it.
You mean sandwich?
Salmon sandwich? Oh my god. What are you doing, Why?
Hiding.
We've had our lunch. On to number 9. It's not a V8. It's not a V6 turbo. It's basically not terribly fast. I think really me and Tiana have been trying to rack our brains about a top 10 worst things or things we don't like. We can only get to 9. So 9's where we stop. There's only 9 things that we hate about our Ranger Raptor. We really can't think of another thing. Now, let's get on to the things we love. If you haven't already, guys, click that subscribe button down there, or is it down here? One side or the other, where it says my name, this side or that side. Please hit that, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Right, on to things we love about our Ranger Raptor. On the subject of it not being a V8, not being a V6, it's also one of the things I absolutely love about the car, The twin turbo 2-litre diesel is amazing. It is plenty fast for a diesel. It's backed by that 10-speed auto that's out of the Mustang, and it is sick. It is actually amazing. It pulls like a freight train when it comes to towing. It's amazing on fuel. I did Mount Gambier and back on cruise control, pretty much set to 120 the whole time, and got back like 14.6 it was saying on the speedo on the gauge. And that's pretty good considering I was towing a race car, wheels, tyres and everything else. I would have been close to the 2.5 ton towing capacity. That's number one. That is something I absolutely love about the car. Number two, you can do jumps. Let me show you. Right, so while we're on the subject of jumps, one of the best things about the jumps and the reason this car can jump is how ridiculous this suspension is. So I want to show you guys underneath. The Fox coilover suspension is ridiculous. Just the size of the bolts and stuff that run through the suspension just give you so much confidence to be able to jump it. And they jump so damn well. It is just such a cool feature of these trucks, and it is just monstrous. Like the size of that bolt that runs through the coilover. And the build of the lower arms, the rear is amazing, the suspension. So number three, the suspension is absolutely insane, super comfortable. You can jump it because of how good the suspension is. So that is number three things that I love about the Ranger Raptor. While we're on the ground, we just move further down the car and get on to number four, which is, I'm a race car guy, right? So this actually I think is sick. The exhaust dumps before the diff, which I think in a factory car is a super rad thing. Obviously it's a decent sized pipe, it has a muffler, I've left it in, I haven't bothered removing it yet, but it dumps before the diff, which I think is just sick, absolutely sick part of the truck, that the exhaust dumps at the diff, and it sounds pretty good. Again, for a diesel it sounds great. But that is number four thing that I love about my Ranger Raptor. So number five, I told you guys one of the things we didn't like about it is how wide it is. But it's also one of the things I love about the Ranger Raptor. It's just so damn wide. It looks so aggressive. It's such an aggressive looking truck, and pretty much you just look straight down your nose at other Rangers when you come down the road because of just how ridiculously wide they are. It's out of control. They're so much wider than a normal one. I had a BT50 before I had the Ranger Raptor. And you know, these things are so much wider, and I absolutely love it. The stance of the car is just phenomenal for a factory built car. So Ford absolutely nailed it in that department. All right guys, we are now on to number six. One of the greatest things, the thing that really did sell us on this car, after seeing it, knowing what it's capable of, was all good and well. But at the moment we sat our butts into these seats, our mind was made up. These seats are incredibly comfortable. They hold super well. You know, like I said, I come from a race car background. That's one of my race cars there. Well, it's not a race car, it's a road driven drift car. But if you look at through my other videos, you'll see that I'm clearly a race car guy. But for a factory car, man, these seats are on par with like Evo, etc. But even more comfortable, super comfortable. And it's really one of the things that got us over the line with buying this car. As soon as we sat in it, it's like, you can't go and sit back in a wild track or anything like that again, because it just doesn't make any sense. These are just so super comfortable. And you know, like I said, I bought this car from a dealership. I hooked the trailer up in the dealership and immediately drove the car 2,400 kilometers with a trailer behind it, and it was so comfortable. I really didn't want to stop, you know, because you're less fatigued from actually driving the car because it's so comfortable. You feel like you can do far more miles, which you can. So definitely something that helps with the overall purchase of the car. That's another thing that I absolutely love about the Ranger Raptor. Alright, so we are on to number 7. I got wifey out here for this one. What's something that you love about the Raptor?
Oh, that I love.
Yeah, love's a lot easier than hate with this car because it's sick.
I don't know. Everything?
Everything? Anything particular?
The seats.
I just did seats.
The blue stitching.
blue stitching on the seats. So that's still technically seats.
Yeah.
There's something on the outside that I know that you really
The
love.
side steps.
Yes. What do you love about them particularly?
I don't know. They're just... they're just cool. Very tough looking.
And then with the Raptor imprinted in them, and yeah.
Actually, I don't know why. I just like them. It's like my first thing that I pointed out about them.
Actually, just saying that, number 10. I've got my number 10 for things I hate. The side steps. Again, it's another one of those love-hate things, but they've pretty much got like a sandpaper coating on them. And if you jump out of the car without using them, you literally run that sandpaper straight down the back of your leg and take all the hair off your legs, and until you get used to it, especially, you do it all the time. And I had a friend hop out of it, I think yesterday, and just take all the hair off the back of his legs, and he was like, what the hell, these side steps? I'm like, yeah, because you need to use the side steps.
I don't have that problem because I'm 5 feet tall, so I need the side steps to get in and out of the car.
Yeah.
You're over 6 foot, so...
Yeah. So this is definitely going to be a problem when I do put rock sliders on it. She didn't object to it. What's something else you love?
The colour.
You love the colour?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. That's definitely something. So number, would that be 6, 7?
8.
8? Number 8. We love the colour. Ford nailed it on this colour as far as I'm concerned. It completely suits the car.
Conker grey.
As much as we like I quite like a black car, and was originally thinking black, but then you see a black one on the road and you can't see any of this. You can't see how wide it is. It really doesn't show the proportions of the car, where you see the conker grey colour, which is what this colour is, and yeah, that was your pick, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the interior on the seats, it's got the grey bits, accents to it, and then there's like little grey bits.
It's a lot of likeable things.
Like even the surrounding of the vents, like they're grey.
Yeah.
But they're the grey, I think they're grey on all of the colours.
Yeah.
So it just looks better with that. And yeah.
So yeah, that was number 8. Alright, so we'll jump on to number 9 now. Wifey's got another one. What do you got? Don't get all nervous on camera now.
I like that even though it's such a big car, like I feel so small in it. No. It's really easy to drive and really easy to see out of. Like I had no issue driving it. I thought I was going to be petrified driving such a big car on the road, and no, it's really good, like shoulder checks and everything. It's really easy to see out of. They nailed it. So even if you're really short or your missus is scared to drive it, just get her to. It's so easy.
Right, so we're going to move straight on from there to the next one, which is the tyres that this car comes with. Comes with 33-inch, well they're just shy of 33-inch, but 33-inch VF Goodrich all-terrain tyres. And these tyres are tyres I was about to get for my BT50. These are amazing tyre. I think they're fantastic. They have lots of side bite in them, but they're still super quiet on the road. And for a car to come factory with 33s, means you can legally go up to a 35. I personally don't think 35s look good on the Raptor. I would maybe go halfway in between and go like a 34. But I personally won't be going 35s myself. I don't want to compromise the drivability. And the guards, in my opinion, do not suit a 35. So once you get a 35 in there, I think they look weird. So that is my number 9 or 10. What are we up to now? It's ridiculous. I think probably the last thing, just because I've got a million things that I love about this car. I cannot compliment this car enough. Alright, so number 10, come back to the ability to be able to jump these cars and just the overall off-road ability of them. You know, they've gone to the point of putting strengthening, like look at this strengthening in the diff. Like look at the brace across there. That's stuff you see in comp trucks, which is phenomenal. Then it's got the Panhard rod setup, which is similar to a V8 supercar style, I forget what it's called. But that style of Panhard. You've got the factory recovery points on the back of the car, which are all rated recovery points on either side at the back, and a huge amount of clearance at the back. And then on the front, again, massive clearance at the front, rated recovery points, and all bash guarded under the front. So that's 10. Now let's show you guys how this thing goes off-road.
Jesus Christ, it's gonna be dusty. Damaging the car, or what I'll do if he damages the car. Kangaroo? Oh, did you? The bike is probably
that's it from us, guys. That's our 10 things we love and hate. A little bit of wheeling at the end there. I didn't even air down for that. It's such a sick car, guys. I do recommend getting yourself a Ranger Raptor if you can afford it. Don't spend money outside of what you can spend, but it is an extremely good car and I'm extremely happy with it. And yeah, share this around, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think of the Raptor, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.